Hello, comrades, and welcome to a brand new series of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. My name, of course, is Orbital Potato, and I will be the glorious dictator for the course of this episode, and indeed the rest of the series. A lot has changed since the last episode, and a lot has changed with this recent update of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, so I thought now would be a great time to start a brand new series, start afresh, and see what lessons we've learned and apply them in this series going forward. As you can see on screen now, this is the parameters that we have set this game up with. The first thing that you might notice is that this game is in a populated world. It's populated by people, and it's also populated by roads and bridges. Most of the roads, for the most part, are all dirt roads, but some of them are indeed gravel roads, so that's something to keep in mind. We've named our first town in roughly the same location, actually, Potatograd, because of course, why would we not want to continue on the legacy of Potatograd? Yeah, so we've named the first town Potatograd, but that's pretty much the only thing that is going to stay the same. So as I say, going back to the parameters that we set this game up with, we'll start from the top, shall we? So, yeah, first things first, we're in a populated world. The world is exactly the same as the old one, apart from the fact that there is now a whole bunch of road connections, a whole bunch of towns, and a couple of cathedrals and churches around the place. So, now our population can be satisfied by religion as well, so that makes things slightly easier, but it also makes it slightly more realistic, and if I dare say, more interesting. Now we've got to plan around the population centers and try and get people working in a certain area to achieve a certain objective. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. This is the first episode, so the very, very, very base level of the grand plan will be explained to you over the course of time. Anyway, unsatisfied citizens' reaction. Yeah, so that has been put on hard, which means that if citizens aren't getting their hospitals, or they aren't getting enough food, then they are going to be very, very, very unhappy with me. We never really ran into any citizenship happiness problems, but I'm sure that we will in this episode, or in this series, should I say. But we never really had that problem in the last series, so hopefully, touch wood, we'll be fine in this one, but it's going to be an extra level of complexity, and we need to make sure that all of our citizens get the services that they demand. Energy management. There's a whole bunch of extra buildings that we now have access to, and if I go into railways that you can now see, railroad electric connection and train diesel station, and then this will consume fuel. So all of our vehicles now need to be fueled, and in fact, if I go into roads, I'm pretty sure that there is a gas station. Yeah, so there's a gas station, and this also consumes fuel. So now we need to make sure that all of our road vehicles are at least going near a gas station so that they can fill up and continue to do what they're going to do. So that is an extra level of complexity as well, but something that I'm really looking forward to dealing with. Day-night cycle is on. That's pretty obvious. Building fires are going to be frequent. We didn't really take the fire brigade very seriously in the last series. However, in this series, we are absolutely going to be taking them very, very seriously. Pollution is enabled. I don't even know if it was disabled last time. That's good, because that means that we might finally have use for our pollution monitoring system. Where is it? It's around here somewhere. I think is it in residential buildings? No, it used to be in residential buildings. Equipment for citizens. Yeah, there we go. Pollution monitoring station. We've never really had any use for them before, but now if you build an oil refinery right here, right next to citizens, then they will get unhappy. So we need to keep that in mind as well. Also, as I talked a little bit about in the final episode of the last series, there is now a whole bunch of car manufacturing and personal vehicle ownership stuff in the game. There's also the City Hall / accounting office, which we'll talk a little bit about later on, but for the most part, we can now assemble cars and sell them to our citizens and sell them to other countries. within the world. We can sell them to the Soviet bloc and also to the NATO bloc, so that's going to be very, very cool indeed, and will change the dynamics slightly. All of these vehicles need to be fueled, and, you know, in order to fuel them, we need to produce fuel or buy fuel in. So, lots and lots of stuff to be doing for sure. The year of start is 1970 again. I could have gone earlier, I could have gone later. I feel that 1970 is right down the middle and pretty close to what we're looking for. And vehicle availability is just as it was last time, so as the game progresses, we will progressively unlock more and more vehicles, which is very, very nice indeed. And the education simulation is complex, which means that if workers have a kid that can't go to kindergarten, then that means that they can't actually work. I think that that's basically what that means. But anyway, yes, a whole bunch of settings designed to make the game more challenging, but also more realistic and just very, very different to what we had in the last series. So, the reason that I've started in Potatograd, same as last time, and this is where we're going to talk about long-term strategy and planning, because we need to have a 5-year plan. You know, it's something that the Soviets did. They had a 5-year plan. I think it was 5 years anyway. A 5-year plan where we try and outline the large objectives for the next 5 years. So let's talk a little bit about what we want to accomplish in the next 5 years. Okay, so oil in this game is much, 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 much more important because it is going to be fueling all of our trains. And trains, we know, are going to be designed very, very differently to the way that we had them set up in the last game. So my plan for trains, just talking about trains briefly before we move on to oil, is that I'd like to have a massive circular train network. So if you imagine the city of Potatograd, rather than having one train station like right in the center, or perhaps demolishing these two buildings, putting a train station there and then running a track in and then a track out, what I'd rather do is I'd rather have a station that goes right through the town, or demolish these two buildings for the station, and then have a railway line that leads in at this side and then out at that side. It's a little bit complicated to explain, but as opposed to having a terminal station in Potatograd in each and every town around the map, I'd like to have a through station. So every station will be a stop, theoretically. That's the plan. We just don't want to have the same situation that we had last time, where we had trains changing directions, taking shortcuts. It was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. So that's what we're going to do differently with trains this time. Yes, the reason that we started in Potatograd was for oil. Oil is very, very important now that we need it. And also, something else that I'd like to change right from the get-go is that I want to be making millions and millions and millions of rubles right from the start. Now, like last time, I've set myself up with a easy amount of money. That's 10 million rubles, $2 million. If you start with hard, it's something like 500,000 and a million, I think. So $500,000 and a million rubles. I didn't really want to do that. The reason that I didn't really want to do that is because I wanted to get all of the infrastructure in place to immediately start making a bunch of money. Primarily for video making purposes. It's not super interesting to say, hey, we've just let the simulation run for a year because we don't have any money to build the appropriate infrastructure, so we're only going to be able to make a tiny bit of money, and therefore it's not very interesting, yada 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 yada. You get the picture. It's not particularly interesting to do, so that was my plan. Give us a large bung of money at the start, and that will allow us to place down all the infrastructure and hopefully start making much more money much more quickly. That's the plan anyway. So yes, as you can probably recall, Oil Town was over here, and if I go into the oil rigs, you can see, there we go, you can see the sheer amount of oil that is around here. It is very, very, very oil rich. And I'm hoping to exploit exactly the same resources in this area. So that's the plan anyway. Potatograd would serve primarily as the area where we would first start utilizing the workforce. So this area has got a lot of people. We don't actually know how many people because we haven't placed down, where is it? Equipment for citizens. Car dealer, this one, yeah, City Hall and the Counting Office. This is still a new building, but I'm sure I'll learn to use it. This, I believe, just gives access to administrative statistics and whatnot. You know, we could actually just place this down. I think I might just place this right about here. Yeah, let's get that placed. That's gonna be our first building. We're not gonna unpause quite yet because there's still a lot more that I want to talk about. However, it feels right that we should place down an administrative center in Potatograd, given that that is in effect our capital city. Anyway, the point is that Potatograd is going to become the area where we start producing oil first, or we start refining oil into fuel and also into bitumen. I don't envision Potatograd being you know, like Oil Minsk in the end game. I don't think that we're gonna end up doing a huge amount of oil production over here. It's just the sort of start the ball rolling place where we can confidently say, hey ho, this is gonna be great. Let's start immediately making money, and then everyone's happy. That's the plan. That's what Potatograd. It's a large population center. We can bust them out to the oil refinery over here or whatever, and then all of the oil is going to be supplied from over here. Something like that. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, yes, we want the oil. We want the oil for fuel, and we want the oil because we want to be making money. Now, something that I've not quite decided yet. We're obviously going to want to have a rail connection. We're going to want to have a rail connection to the border, especially if we're going to be producing, fuel and bitumen just on the outskirts of Potatograd. We're going to want to get a connection pronto via rail to one of the customs houses. Yep. But I'm not sure how we're going to do that. So we'll have to roll with that as we go. The reason that I'm not sure how we're going to do it is, of course, because we want this massive circular network, which will not have any trains being confused. So we got to keep that in mind. But I don't think that we're going to have too much difficulty. One of the things that I've not decided about is if we're going to run trains carrying passengers and trains carrying goods on the same circular network, or if we're going to have different lines, etc. We'll see. We'll see as we go. But yeah, so that's pretty good. So this is the sort of plan that I've got for Potatograd. This is the plan that I've got for oil production, oil refining. That's kind of pretty darn good. Something that we do need to keep in mind is that for the most part, population centers are not near the edge of the map. So unless we want to bring a whole bunch of new immigrant workers to a specific location, then we're going to have to, you know, move goods over a long distance to the border. One of the towns that is kind of exempt from that rule of thumb is Zloplatsk. That's definitely not going to be staying the same. But there's a large customs house over here. It is an American customs house, but you know, hey ho, we'll take that in our stride. The other thing that we need to keep in mind is coal refining and power production. Power production is, I mean, really, really important. We are absolutely going to want someone to supply the power for Potatograd and all of the oil refining. That's quite a power-intensive process. So we're gonna need to get a coal grad set up pretty sharpish. I mean, coal grad was, I think it used to be like over here or over here somewhere. Let me have a quick little look, see where coal grad is. Now, one of the things that I do want to change is that I would like to, if possible, try and get coal grad. Ah, yes, it was here. It was over here. Yeah, I would like to try and get Colgrad. I'd like to try and get Colgrad to also produce the power. So maybe we could double up and get Colgrad to produce power as well as mine the coal. That's something to keep in mind. What's the population of this area? I don't know what the population of this area is, but I mean, if there's 5 people in each house, then it can't be that large. But we're going to bust literally the entire population of that town out to Colgrad to try and get some coal up and running. But yeah, we're going to need to mine coal, we're going to need to refine coal, and then we're going to need to use it to power the power station. Again, I don't want that to be the end game. What I would like to do in the end game is have a system in place that allows us to set up a whole bunch of terminals over here. So we literally just deal with the coal production over here, the coal production, and then maybe we move it somewhere else to get it refined, and then we move it somewhere from where it's refined to where we need to consume it in a building, or burn it, turn it into power, whatever. So yeah, I want the whole system to be set up in a way that is much more modular than it was last time. So, you know, not much like we had Grad last time. And in Grad, you only had grain, right? You only had grain, and it was moved from one place to another place. It was great. So Grad, Meat Grad, that is sort of my dream setup. So we want to break it down even further and try and get individual towns and areas doing individual jobs. Hopefully, they're all linked to like a city or a population area. That's the real goal. And we want to try and take advantage of the fact that there are many cities or towns, should I say, spread across the entirety of the map. That would be the ideal case scenario. So rather than sort of starting in Potatograd and working our way out, I think we probably want to start in Potatograd and then go where the wind takes us. We don't want to get too hemmed into this old way of thinking. So that's my rationale. That's my logic for how I'd like the episode to go. So I think that fairly well sets up our priorities. First of all, we want to get oil. Second of all, we want to get coal, and we want to get power. In fact, you know what? Maybe we don't get power set up over here. Maybe we try and get power set up somewhere else. Yes, I'm thinking that if we're going to go for this really modular approach that I'm talking about, maybe we just try and do that from the get-go. I mean, it's going to be very, very expensive to set up the railway lines, and that's what I'm kind of a little bit worried about, actually, is the expense of shelling out for all of that track. However, if I'm going to practice what I preach, we might as well start off strong. But anyway, yes, so that's the plan in the short term anyway. I say short term, the next 5 years. And things, hopefully, will go spectacularly well, but I'm sure that now that we've bumped everything up to hard, things are not going to go spectacularly well. We also need to make sure that we give people what they want, because if we don't give them food, if we don't give them resources, then I'm pretty sure that their happiness is going to decrease, and then they're just all going to get really, really irritated at me, and they're going to stop working, and it's not going to be a great time. So yeah, we'll try and not do that. All right, I think that we're actually ready to go. I don't think there's anything else that I specifically wanted to talk about before we started the series proper and started our building. So without further ado, let's try and get a couple of oil rigs. I don't want to go too over the top here, so I probably want to find a couple of locations. Yeah, 2 locations maybe, where the quality of the source is going to be the highest. We will, of course, be coming back. I'll take 3 locations because that will then merge into one singular pipe. Yeah, so we'll merge it into one pipe, and then we'll try and get it to the other side of the mountain. Okay, yeah, get that in there. That there. Hill causing obstruction. No problems whatsoever. We'll deal with that. Okay. So this is going to be quite an expensive and long pipe, but I think it's probably worth doing it directly with pipe rather than with the train network, because the train network is going to be a work in progress and is going to be rather difficult to get set up in a sense from there to there, because there's a massive mountain range in the middle, so I don't really want to deal with that. Okay, so that's the basic pipe infrastructure. We'll get the final connection from this area to this area in a little bit. We'll also do names in a little bit. I want to get started. I want to get stuck in right at the deep end. First things first, you know? Okay, so oil refinery is one of the largest investments that we're going to be making in the early game. And I think that we want it to be, honestly, quite far out of town. For a reason that I've already touched on. But we want, well, we don't want, maybe not that far out of town, because we want people to be able to commute to it relatively easily. Let's try that there. Yeah, let's give that a bash. So this is going to be an interesting place, because we're going to want to make sure that we've got an output, or at least 2 outputs. 2 outputs to tanks. There we go. 2 outputs to tanks. At least 2 tanks, actually. With room to expand, that would be ideal. I also want to try and make sure that we get road connections to absolutely everything, because if we don't, then that means that we run the risk of fire, and I do not want to have expensive infrastructure breaking down on me on the regular. So we'll keep that in mind. Okay. Yeah, that's the 2 tanks that we're going to have set up. That's the oil refinery that we're going to have. We've got the road connection that I am going to build. Gravel road to there. Let's get this upgraded to a gravel road as well. There we go. No reason not to do this. Let's just get this all auto building. Then we'll get a bus depot and we'll set up buses and whatnot. Not super worried about that. I'm just wanting to get everything planned out before we commit to it and before we build it. Okay, good. Now, next things next. We're going to need to get power, and I think that power is honestly the next step in our construction journey. Where's the nearest power point? It's over there. I think it probably is over there. Is there a near power point over here? Not really. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Well, I mean, this is going to be ludicrously expensive, but that's fine. Okay, 53,000 rubles to get it all the way out over here. That's fine. Let's take it to like there, and then let's get ourselves a power transformer. In fact, no, I don't want to do a power transformer. I want to do a high voltage switch. Like so. Again, leaving access for road networks. Oh, that's a rotten bit of luck there, but hey-ho. Power transformer. Put there. Another rotten bit of luck. Hey-ho. And then we will continue on the power train right over the mountain to here, where we're also going to get another power transformer. Thank goodness these things aren't too expensive. And then let's get it rotated to the correct orientation. Wipe it down there. Ah, great news. Just one pylon needs to be built. Fantastic. And then let's go and get medium voltage wires. And let's just get the best type of medium voltage wires that we possibly can. We want to try and get the whole town powered up. I don't think that there is any possible way of doing that with our current layout here. Yeah. But if we're going to want to get these people to work for us, then we're going to need to gosh darn supply them with power. Okay. Will that squeeze in there? That's pretty good going. So that will supply a large percentage of the town, but not all of it. The rest probably needs to be done from over here, I would guess. Yeah, we can't have the city hall not funded. Not powered even. There we go. Okay, get that down there. And then finally, we'll get a substation out here. Because, hold on. Oh no, that means that these houses are going to be unpowered. Yeah, I think we're going to need another one. Another one right over here, I think. Alright. Give that a bash. There we go. And that is pretty much everything connected. Oh, hold on. You know what? One more for good measure. Okay, great. Potatograd is starting to look and feel like an actual town. Okay, so that's the power taken care of. Now we just need to make sure that everything is connected appropriately. I'm going to use the best wires because, quite honestly, if you don't use the best wires, then you just run the risk of eventually running short of power, and it's just not worth even dealing with. So you might as well, straight away from the get-go, just use the best wires that you can get access to, the best wires that you can afford, really. That's my advice. Here we go. Okay, last one. Again, this is a lot of money, but it's going to be absolutely worth it once we get things in place. Okay. Are we going to have an issue here? We may have an issue here, folks. I don't actually think that we'll have an issue. There we go. There we go. Wonderful. That can be taken back. And connect that like so. There we go. Okay, beautiful. So that's power sorted. Let's quickly just make sure that this thing is going to be on import. Import. Yeah, that's fine. I think 1 megawatt will probably be more than enough for what we actually require. And so that will be powering absolutely everything. We got a power transformer right here, but we don't have a substation out here. Not yet anyway. Yep. There we go. Once again, using the best wire that I can afford. Perfect. It's much easier to do it like that, I think. That's just the best way to do it in terms of having a power transformer right over here. If we want to expand this area, which we inevitably will want to end up doing, then we're going to want to make sure that we got more power in this area. So, yeah, fine. Great. Happy to do that. Happy to make the expense now for ease of access in the future. Okay, good. So, that's power sorted. That's oil refining mostly sorted. Before we finish off on oil refining and start dealing with population happiness, it's probably worth us getting some oil storage tanks. What am I doing? I need that. Yeah, that. Yeah, let's get some oil storage tanks over here. I think we'll just start with one for now, but with the expectation that more will be added over time. Great, and then that will connect directly into there. That's all the pipes finished. That's looking pretty darn perfect. Now, we just need to deal with this old nonsense. Okay, yeah. So this is going to be intensely irritating because we're going to need to get a pump every so often. And I don't think that there is any cheaper way of doing this. Part of the problem, though, is that this is going to cost us hundreds and thousands of rubles. And I just don't like paying that much for... I don't like paying that much for pipeline, honestly. But that's a price that we've got to pay. Okay, so that's too long. Take it to there. And is there a price difference in these things? There really isn't. Yeah, there's literally no difference in those things whatsoever, so all we need to make sure that we do is we try and stretch the pipes for as long as possible. But then again, it becomes this irritating game of not stretching them quite far enough or stretching them too far. Okay, get that leveled. There we go. Okay. Right, I'm hoping that we'll be able to get away with just... Okay, yeah. I'm hoping that we'll be able to get away with just a few more piping stations, or pumping stations. There we go. Good stuff. We've spent our first... Hold on a minute. We spent our first ruble officially. There we go. On some ground works. Thankfully, ground leveling works cost almost no money whatsoever. And therefore, I'm fine spending very little money on it. Okay. The next couple of pumping stations are going to be the most difficult. but I'm sure we will be just fine. There we go. Good. There we go. Happy days. Okay. Let's see. Alright, great. We'll bring this cable to pretty much the edge of the mountain. And then we'll let it fall down from there. Okay, this next one's going to be a little bit of a confuzzler. Okay, too long. Take it to there. Oh, apparently it's not going to be too difficult to do at all. Great. It's going to be our most expensive bit of landscape removing to date, but that's fine. Okay, perfect. We just need one more pump, one last solitary pump, and then we're there. This whole operation has been completed relatively easily, relatively smoothly. Of course, we won't actually see how much everything will cost until we unpause, but that's, I mean, that's a burden that I'm going to have to bear. I don't really want to think about it, but hey-ho. Okay, so that's that. We need to get all of that stuff powered. I'm perfectly happy to do that later. I just wanted to absolutely get sort of the first draft done. And you know what? Once we've built this, we're not going to need to build it again. That is going to be the permanent oil pipeline connection from what will become Oil Town, or some other Russian-sounding name to Potatograd. So that's pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, that's great. Let's deal with people happiness now. Okay. Equipment for citizens is what we're after. I do want a shopping center. I kind of want a shopping center. I also kind of feel like maybe rather than an 89,000 ruble shopping center, instead we put a small shopping center. I mean, where can these people access? Yeah, they only walk a pretty short distance, to be honest, so I mean, there's no space. It looks like the Central Committee has overlooked leaving space for any shopping facilities. I don't actually hate that location as an area for a shopping center. The reason that I feel a shopping center would be more appropriate is because it combines the best of the best. It combines the grocery store and it combines the small store. Cumulatively, they are cheaper to place. However, they also individually take up more space than a shopping center. And a shopping center is fine for what we need it for. The other irritation that we've got is that we don't have any space. I say that's the other irritation. That's the only irritation, really, is we don't have any space in the center of town that can accommodate a shopping center. I'm very, very keen on not demolishing any buildings at present. However, that might become the only valid way to do business. Honestly, it's pretty inconceivable that a town of Potatograd's size, you know, that's already built, that's already here, wouldn't actually have any shopping centers or small shopping centers, or even just like a grocery store. But apparently that's what the situation is. So we're gonna have to amend that. So yeah, something like that is probably fine. I think that we're honestly gonna have to get just like 4 of these things. Put one in there. We'll see if we can get a sort of walkway connection, because again, we want to make sure that we've got as much stuff connected via road as possible. Okay, so that's there. That's there. One more over like here, maybe. Can we fit one in there? Oh, that looks tight, but that looks like it might just work. Oh my goodness, that actually works. Okay, let's get something in there. Great. Is that going to be enough? I don't suspect that it will, but we'll leave it for now, and we'll take that. We'll take that as enough. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because we can't see the buildings that can be reached on foot until it's done. So I think that that's honestly going to be more than enough coverage, with maybe the only houses like over here. No, they'll be able to access. Maybe the houses up here. Maybe the houses up there won't be able to access a shopping center. But whatever the case, that's fine. Cinemas. We can probably get one cinema or two cinemas maybe if needs be. Probably one over there, and then probably one over here. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be that house right there. In fact, maybe, you know what, maybe a third cinema. Yep. Sure. Yeah, third cinema, come on. I don't want to put it too far along the road, because otherwise it just becomes a nightmare to build. Okay, put that in there. Hopefully we'll be able to get a road between them, and it'll all work out. We'll build roads in just a second, but at least now I want to get the infrastructure down. Pubs are going to, of course, play a very important role. Pubs can go in areas that need a lot less attention. Or need a lot less attention, a lot less space as well. Maybe we can fit some pubs in on the corners here. No, apparently not. We'll get a pub in over there. For sure, though. It's great. Pub in over here, maybe? There we go. Perfect. As long as we've got a local on every corner, so to speak, then we're going to be absolutely fine. We might be somewhat limited in terms of accessing the people at the very center of the city. But there's not much that we can do about that. There's not much that we can do about that at all. Alright. Put that there. Grand. Okay. Happy days. Maybe actually one more pub up here. Maybe I'm thinking that we remove this bad boy. Yeah, let's demolish that. Let's demolish that for now. The reasoning will become clear in just a second. Demolish that, demolish that, demolish that. Electric substation, yes, demolish that. Yes, please. Great, and then let's get a road that comes out this way. Perfect, and then we can get a whole bunch of stuff coming off this road. So first things first, let's get the substation into place. Over there. Great. And connect that up like so. Then we can go back to thinking about pubs. Great. Oh, come on. Come on, pub. How is that not working out? Oh, it's because there's a cable behind. Okay, well, what about down here? There we go. Grand. We found the perfect spot. Alright, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now we just need to pretty much just need to think about sport, right? Culture, yep, alcohol addiction, government loyalty. Government loyalty we can do on the radio. We want to make sure that everyone gets a radio and a TV, actually, in time. We also need a fire station. Straight off the bat this time. I'm going to put a fire station right about there, so that we can still leave some space for a road, an access road going down there. The train station in Potatograd is, I mean, it's going to be important to make sure that we put it in a good location. I'm thinking that we probably put it out here to connect onto this road. That's my plan anyway, but we're not gonna get suckered into doing things with train stations quite yet. We're going to do football fields and we're going to do tennis playgrounds. Yep. All of that is gonna work out just fine, I suspect. Okay, grand. Tennis and football fields can just be built wherever. Also, if we need to increase the population of the town at any point, hopefully we'll have enough space to do that. If we leave some roads that can be expanded just around the place, that's going to be great. We also need to get a hospital. Hospital is going to cost a fair bit of money, but that's probably alright. Let's build the hospital right over here. This road will get upgraded in due course, but it's probably a good idea that we just get the hospital down first and foremost, so that everything that we could really want is all up and running. Now, we're going to need to get parking lots and large parking lots over the course of time. However, I don't really want to faff around with that now, given that I don't have any capability to get cars made or cars bought for anyone. So that's just going to have to be an objective that we pursue later on in the game. We can get a radio station, but there is absolutely no reason to spend any amount of money on a radio station right now. That would just be a frivolous and silly use of money. What I do want to do, as I've already said, is get a train station down, a train platform, a regular old train platform. If we can get that into play, then that would be absolutely great. I think right about here would be perfect. The reason that would be perfect is that will allow us to extend this road out here. That's fine. Just a little bit of a deviation there. Extend the road, get it connected to the train platform. This may not be necessary. This may not be necessary for anything, but we're almost certainly going to want to carry passengers or workers from this place to somewhere else on the board, somewhere else on the map anyway. So as long as we sort of place it now, then we can deal with that later. Okay, that's good. So that's almost all of the infrastructure that we could really want. We still need to get a train depot, a train loading dock over here for the resources to be loaded up and taken away to the other part of the map. The other thing that we wanted to do was buses. We need to get buses done before we finally unpause. I reckon probably in total we've spent maybe 2 or 3 million rubles, but this is going to really kickstart our economy, so to speak. And by kickstart, I mean it will basically start our economy, because we don't have any economy at the moment, and we will have an economy after this. So there we go. Yeah, oil fuel loading and unloading. I think that's exactly what we're after. We also need to get a train diesel station, which kind of terrifies me because I don't really understand it. But that's all right. All right, getting that in play. That's great. Again, road connection, perfect, sorted. Concrete-based railways versus electric railways. There is a difference. The difference kind of scares me, because I want to electrify track. I want to have electric track. It seems like a much more efficient way of doing business, as opposed to having a diesel train filling up point. However, it does mean that we need to build much more expensive track. So that is 1,600 rubles. How much is that? There. Oh, it's the same cost because it doesn't matter. Okay, let me try that again. So let's go from here to here. Right, so that's 8,000 rubles for concrete track. For wooden track, it's basically 8,000 as well. But it's 12,000, so it's basically more expensive by almost 50% actually if we electrify the track. So even though the train diesel station is slightly more expensive to implement, I think it's going to be cheaper, at least in the short term. In the short term, we want to get diesel trains, but in the long term, we're absolutely going to want to get electric trains. Also, electric trains I think are slightly more powerful. It's my impression anyway, but I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing about that. Okay, so where are we going to want to get the trains to go? And the circular nature of the network is going to have to be started right now. Okay, we want the train to go to... We can get the train to go to there. Pandonin. That's got three train tracks right there. What about over here? That doesn't. It's the same prices, I believe. Let me have a look. I believe it's the same prices. Yeah. The prices may well change, but I don't think that they deviate that much. Okay. Yeah, this presents somewhat of a problem because Potatograd is naturally in quite a mountainous region. I don't love where Potatograd is. So I think that we might take the, I say unusual step. It's not gonna be unusual at all, but it's gonna work. It's gonna work nice and perfectly. Let me quickly, before we start doing this, delete that, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this in place. And that means that we're going to be able to have an access way for trains to get under there. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's get this done. So we're going to want one track going there and one track going back. We're probably also going to want to expand the network later. So we gotta make sure that we're designing everything with foresight in mind. Okay. Great. Great. There's no real reason to build that track there, actually, because this won't be the track that takes trains back around here. Because this is just the output. The output? Yeah, the output from the pumping station. So we can merge into one track quite easily there. Bring that through. Ideally, I'd like to try and get it to go up through the pylons over here. Yep, that's looking quite nice. And then what I'm thinking is that we probably try and get it to run right down the river for the most part. I know that that doesn't really align with the whole idea of having a central network or having a big circular network even, because the railway is the river is pretty much in the center of the map, but that's okay. We don't have to have a railway so that it goes around the edge of the map. We can always have a railway that runs down the middle of it, as long as we respect it enough to make it all work. Okay, so that goes there. Let's get a line that goes on the way back. Just going to try and simulate this is the line which brings trains back around. I'm thinking that we probably want to go down this side of the city, so let's immediately cancel that construction and instead branch off from here and go around this way. There's no reason, if we can avoid it, to go over any roads. There we go. Avoid all the roads that we can. Again, I think we're going to try and come down just a little bit further because we want to allow Potatograd room to expand. Because as I've said, I'm not super keen on Potatograd being, the holy grail of all cities. We want to make sure that it's, the most important city and the capital city, but we need to make sure that we give every other city the room to grow and expand and have a great time and whatnot. Okay. We need to get it to connect up over there. Can we just, That's actually fine. Yeah, that's great. That's great. 28,000 rubles. That's an absolute steal. Honestly, that's fantastic. And then this can come down here. And then that can merge in there. Perfect. And then we're also going to want to create a route for the regular transport. Oh, this is not going to work. I can just tell that that's not going to work. How elevated or de-elevated is this? Not very. Okay, I just want to get this all in play before things start kicking off and we run out of money. Okay. Take that from there. Okay. Nope, No, 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 no. Okay. Yeah, so there are always going to be problems with placing tracks. I say that there are always going to be problems with placing tracks. I don't know if there will always be problems with tracks, but there are problems with tracks at present. So yeah, that needs to come there. What about you? Will you connect up with relative ease? I want to get like a beautiful connection as well. We want to make it look quite nice. Yeah, no, I want to... Yeah, I don't think nice is going to be possible on this occasion. Which is a shame because I was hopeful it was going to be glorious. Okay, no. Oh, that's so close to working. In fact, you know what? That will work. That will work. This is fine. There we go. Get that moved back. There we go. Get that in place there. Okay, I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Also, this method of track construction and having circular trains means that we don't really need to limit ourselves, or a circular train network, should I say. We don't need to limit ourselves to, you know, very short trains to do with signals and whatnot, because we should be able to theoretically have the maximum length trains. Because we just we don't need to worry about signal conflicts or, you know, clashes at stations. None of that nonsense. Should all be fine. Okay, I'm gonna sort of place down a feeler track to see if we can try and build out, build our way to the objective first, and then we'll try and place down a second one. So it's basically just over there. So we want to try and come over to this point. So yeah, there's still some slight elevation changes, which I'm not thrilled about, but looks like we're going to be able to get through them with relative ease. As long as we're not actually digging into the mountain. This will be a bloomin' long train journey. Although that's what I said about the initial route that I constructed at the start of the last series, and that was eventually perfect. All right, let's see how this goes. This could, oh, it's getting a little framey. But it works. 86,000 rubles for that one stretch of track. Okay, so that should really tell you what we're working with here in terms of cash. Alright, so right down this valley here is where we're going to want the track to go. Okay. Cross over there. Grand. Okay. Yeah. Up here. Oh, really? Really? We're gonna have issues. We're gonna have issues now? Okay. Looks like just temporary, nothing to worry about. Okay, and then we want to cross over here. Cross over here. And then one final crossover. Too sharp an angle of railway crossing, that's fine. Yeah, okay, bring them all out a little bit. And bring that out. And then we'll all merge into one straight bit of track. There we go, that's grand. And then let's get the other line, which is of course going to be the return line. I say the return line. It could be the going line. Okay. All right. Oh, Gets a little bit framey when I drag it alongside, so let's not drag it along for a little bit. 83,000. Okay, this is going to be a very, very expensive bit of track, but it's fine. Okay, let's also do things slightly differently over here. What I'd like to do is have a bit of track that comes out this way. Yep. Bit of track that comes out that way. Bit of track that comes out that way. Perfect. And that joins up to the return track. This can feed in like so. And that can feed in like that. Okay, that actually looks pretty respectable. I really like the way that that looks. Okay, great. Yeah, so my estimate is going to be about 3 million, maybe 4 million now that I know the cost of the track. Maybe 4 million rubles is what it's going to cost to build all of this infrastructure. Yeah. This is a big one. This is a big one, but it's by no means everything. We also need to connect up the tracks on the output for the passenger platform. But I'm not super worried about that. Anyway, yeah, so you see what the whole big thing about a circular network is that we would drag these two tracks down to somewhere else. And, you know, we'd only make sure that the tracks cross over when they're far, far, far out of town. And hopefully we try and keep crossovers to a minimum. I'm going to try and use bridges much more regularly. That's the plan anyway. Fingers crossed that that will end up working. Okay, so that's that. We need to get buses. Buses. It's a pretty good idea, actually. We should also probably get a construction office, or 6, around Potatograd. Buses, bus depot. You know what, let's put a bus depot. Put a bus depot over here. Or a vehicle depot. Whatever. Okay, get a bus depot down over there. Let's also get this road upgraded. These people should be very, very grateful. I mean, I am upgrading the road primarily because I want to use it. But the people of Potatograd are also going to get access to a lovely new gravel road. How lucky. How unbelievably lucky. Okay, so that's the road vehicles depot. And once we've got that built, we'll be able to set up the orders for our buses. We'll be able to tell them to take people from... Oh, bus stations. We don't actually have any bus stations. Alright, good one, Potato. Almost missed that one there. Train platform, wrong thingy. Yeah, here we go. Bus platform small. Or a bus platform. A regular old bus platform. I mean, I like the idea of a small one. But in actuality, I think that we're going to need a large one. Okay, okay, I mean, I said that I wanted to do this road, so we might as well try and do this now. Oh, it was so close to working. Oh, it did work. Crossing not allowed. What am I crossing? That house? There we go. Okay, great. I'm just going to try and get a road out from here, really. Oh, overlaps with existing construction. That's a pylon there, isn't it? Okay, get that in there, and that in there. Don't know why I feel the need to do this. Just, you know, I want to make Potatograd look actually nice. Okay, yeah, so we need a big bus platform for the reasons of capacity. Pretty much. We don't want to have a situation where we don't have any capacity on our bus lines. Will that actually join up? I don't think it will, you know. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. That's a bit of a bummer, but that's okay. We can get crossing not allowed. Okay, what the heck? Why not? I mean, that's not ideal if we have to run the road all the way from over here. Crossing not allowed. Right, does that work? You really are a very persistent fellow. Okay, delete this bit of road. See if we can try and revamp it slightly. Okay, that seems to remarkably work. Okay, well that seems to work. That's great. That's great news. I didn't think that that was gonna... I think that that is just exactly what the doctor ordered, actually. Okay, so that's a large bus platform, or I say a large bus platform. It's a regular bus platform with a capacity of 500 people. Is that going to be our only bus platform? No, we need to get another one. Probably over here somewhere. We're a little bit limited for space. Man, that would be the perfect place to put a bus platform. I say the perfect place to put a bus platform. Probably not the perfect place to put a bus platform, but it's still okay. Don't really want to demolish those two wires right there. What if I try and put a bus platform in right over here? Yeah, bus platform in over here would actually fit pretty snugly. I want to get some pads connected up and whatnot. That's definitely something that I want to do. Put a bus platform over there, then we're probably going to need to get one more bus platform up here. That's A-okay. Ugh, these pylons are annoying. I should have done these pylons after the whole city was finished. Alright, that goes there, and then also get that up over there. Okay, great. So that's three bus platforms. I think that that will be able to reach most citizens, maybe with the exception of some down here, but I'm not too worried about not collecting a couple of citizens to go and work in the oil refinery. This is quite a labor-intensive process. Obviously, the oil refinery takes quite a lot of people, so we want to make sure that we've got plenty on demand to deliver out to the oil refinery. So that's why we're placing so many bus stations. I should be very, very clear about that. Okay, so let's get some footpads in place, and then I think we'll be in a fine position. Yeah, can I get a path up through here? Building is in the way. I mean, I didn't think that the building was in the way, but... come on, there we go. Okay, good. I'm just trying to get everything connected to as many possible places as we can get it. Okay, good. Oh, come on. How is this not allowed? Building is in the way. Come on. There we go. Okay, grand. Get rid of this bit as well. Perfect. So footpath over there, sorted. Should just bring the journey time down from areas over here to the bus platform. I don't think that we're going to be able to make any other paths to quicken this journey, are we? Oh, maybe. There we go. As long as we've got a good walking system for people that want to walk to places, then as far as I'm concerned, that is good business. So if we don't have to worry about transporting people around, then this game becomes very, very much easier. Also, is that a road that should be connected up? Yeah, that's a road that should be connected up. Okay, this could be a problem actually if we don't have any. I mean, what is this? Old city houses. I guess buses can be sent directly to pick up from there. What about any other old city houses? No, they've all got connections. Right. Pads are dirt cheap and absolutely worth doing. So as long as we can get paths up and running, then that's great. As I say, if people can walk to wherever they need to walk to, then I mean that makes my job as city administrator and, you know, country dictator a heck of a lot easier. Okay, paths over here. Do we need to get a path connecting this network up? I mean, honestly, probably be a good thing to connect this path up here. Yeah, get that over there. That over there. So that's the store. That's the shopping center, should I say. The small shopping center. And then that's the cinema. We'll have an access point over there. Access point over there. Good. This is actually feeling a little bit like an actual city. Potatograd pub. I mean, I don't think that there's any more infrastructure that really needs to be changed over here. It's a football playground. I mean, football playground's a football playground. Doesn't really matter where people access it from. We get a path through here. I think that this ambition is probably not going to be accomplished. Yeah, that's a real shame. Because that would be ideal if we could get that through there. But then again, it's not exactly the worst thing if we can't. It just means that people have to take the slightly longer road around here. We'll get a connection. Get a connection around here so that people can access the... Is that a... What's the issue over here? I'm not sure what the issue is, but hey ho. Yeah, as long as we can get a path, an access path around for the pub, and that's great. Also for the bus platform, in case anyone wants to do that. The walking speed of gravel roads, or gravel paths, I should say, is actually quite fast. It's 112%. Max speed for cars is 35 kilometers per hour. Pretty sure it's maximum speed for humans, but hey ho. Yeah, so walking speed is 75% on gravel roads, so it's much more efficient if we can get people to get paths. We also probably want to bring out asphalt road with streetlights and sidewalks, but that's gonna be further down the line for sure. We don't really need to worry about that too much at present. This road will be upgraded in due course, but it's going to take a while for us to get there. Other paths that we need to get connected, maybe that there, I guess. But honestly, we're pretty close to perfection, I think. Do that over there, and connect that up there, and then in there, although we're probably going to want to demolish those paths and put something more productive in that area. Yep, we still got the city hall that we need to build. In fact, we got loads of stuff that we need to build, and we are gonna press the build button, but we're gonna be doing it in the next episode. We're not gonna be doing it in this episode because I'm unbelievably nervous, and I want to make sure that everything is gonna be fine before we do actually go into the next episode. One of the other things that I'm gonna do off camera is build the pylon system between well, Grad, what will become Grad, and the Potatograd refinery, so that all of these pumps will actually work completely as intended, and they'll all be powered, and it'll all be fine. So I'm not exactly certain what's going to happen when we click that big old purchase button, but we're going to have to find out in the second episode. I'm thinking that maybe we start to develop a little bit further past oil in the next episode. I don't want to just make a series all about moving oil from a refinery to the border. However, in saying that, it's pretty darn important that we get our finances bang up to date and in a good state before we progress on with some rather more frivolous spending. But yes, thank you very much for watching, folks. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.